Are these winds of change or a diplomat, Shashi Tharoor, praising India's foreign policy and a stance on Ukraine? Well, in February 2022, Shashi Tharoor was one of the few parliamentarians to criticize India's position on the Russia-Ukraine war. He wanted India to condemn Russia's aggression. But India maintained a neutral stance with a message that this is not an era of war. 3 years later, the Congress MP has no qualms in admitting that he is still wiping egg off his face. He's graciously accepted that Modi's policy is meant that India has a Prime Minister who can hug both the President of Ukraine and the President of Russia just 2 weeks apart. And we accepted to in both the places. Not just that. He's even said that India is in a position where the country can make a difference to a lasting peace if it was so required in ways that very few countries would be able to. Will Rahul admit too is the big question. But BJP netas are happily welcoming this candid confession by Mr. Tharoor. Congress seems to be distancing itself by saying that these are only Tharoor's views, perhaps forgetting that Shashi Tharoor led the party's charge on the issue in Parliament. Sample the political war of words, and then we open this up for debate.
I was the one person in the parliamentary debate who actually criticized the Indian position at the time, back in February 22. 3 years later, it does look like I'm the one with egg on my face, because clearly the policy has meant that India has actually a Prime Minister who can hug both the President of Ukraine and the President of Moscow 2 weeks apart and be accepted in both places.
दे रहा है दुरुस्त है, अच्छी बात है। आज विदेश नीति में नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार और उनके द्वारा स्वयं के लिए गए जो भी निर्णय होते हैं वो भारत के हित में होते हैं। जैसे शशि थरूर ने स्वीकारा है वैसे ही कांग्रेस पार्टी के बाकी नेता स्वीकारेंगे तो अच्छी बात है।
We need to understand that for India's interest, Congress always stands. Shashi Tharoor is a senior diplomat, therefore he has his views on the diplomatic and the foreign relations. India is always a country which should maintain its neutrality with the friendship with all other countries, and we all know that India's non-alignment policy for long has been strength for us.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 3, on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for more on this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us is RP Singh, National Spokesperson of the BJP. We have Dr. Anand Raghunathan, author. Let me start with you first. Tehseen Poonawala, Shashi Tharoor has been candid. Let's admit that it takes a lot of guts to admit this. But at the end of the day, the criticism will also be this, that are sometimes opposition politicians, too reactionary, too quick to jump the gun, to criticize the government, as is very clearly being seen in this particular case 3 years down the line.
Thank you, Madhav. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think we got to break this up into two aspects. One, it shows the magnanimity of the person, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, and the magnanimity of the Congress party, which has always engaged very positively with its political opponents. You will remember, Madhav, late Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, how he asked Atal ji and Salman Khushi to represent India at the United Nations on the Kashmir issue. So the Congress has always been at the forefront of being critical in interest of the nation and accepting what is good for the nation. This you don't see in the BJP. But the other aspect to it, particularly to the question that you asked, look, there is a disconnect with the BJP and the present government with regards to the opposition. Now today, if I were to ask you, for example, or even Singh Saab, who's representing the BJP, what is the BJP or the government's plan B with regards to Bangladesh, which is a current issue where Hindus are being massacred? The government does not talk to the opposition. Even with China, the government kept calling out the opposition until we had that terrible incident in China where the Chinese at the Ladakh border where the Chinese troops marched in and attacked our soldiers, and we had 20 martyrs. Even with Syria today, what is the government's position? We have investments in Syria.
Tehseen, let's be serious. I mean, on Bangladesh, there was a meeting that was held in Parliament. There was a briefing that took place. Let's also not mince words when there are attempts that to reach out. But the point that you made earlier, I want Dr. Raghunathan was holding his head. Now coming back to you, just 1 second, Dr. Raghunathan, is it a fair criticism at all that this government doesn't take the opposition into confidence, and that the opposition is more magnanimous with the government than vice versa, as Tehseen is claiming?
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Tehseen is a good friend and a brother, as you know, but on this, he could not be more wrong. One, about the internal democracy that he's saying, about the large-heartedness of the Congress. Remind me again, was it the same Congress party that slapped a sedition charge on its own Sachin Pilot? Because in Rajasthan, he was at loggerheads with the Chief Minister. Was it Congress? I seem to forget. Was it Congress, when he's talking about large-heartedness, that doubted our surgical strikes, our bombing at Balakot? So let's not go down that road, please. The fact of the matter is, I'm glad that in a rare moment of candor, Congress leader Shashi Tharoor has graciously, I have to accept this, Taseen is right, accepted that he has egg on his face on the Russia-Ukraine issue. But while Shashi Madhav can wipe the solitary egg off, problem is Rahul Gandhi has had so many eggs on his face on foreign policies, he can make a Spanish or Italian omelette after wiping them off. Look, coming back to the issue, it confirms finally what we have been witnessing. A new confident India under Modi, especially regarding our foreign policy. Remember, Madhav and Taseen, please listen carefully. Air Chief Dhanoa is on record saying that the Indian Air Force wanted to bomb terror hideouts in Pakistan in the wake of 26/11, but was forbidden to do so by a late Manmohan Singh. Remember, India rewarded Pakistan for the 2008 attack on our embassy in Kabul by capitulating miserably in the Sharm el-Sheikh declaration, acquiescing that Pakistan could blame us for Balochistan troubles. And decade after that, Pakistan remained our most favored nation to date. Look, a lot has changed since then. Finally, we are seeing the face of New India. And Madhav, let us be honest about it. The West or the Ukraine or any of the 50 odd Islamic nations, have they put sanctions on China for interning 1.5 million Muslims in concentration camps and forcibly sterilizing them and feeding them pork? And Europe, that 2 years into the Russian invasion of Ukraine, continues to buy 13 million metric tons of coal, 43 billion cubic meters of gas, 17.5 million metric tons of oil from Russia, is lecturing India on morality and ethics. Germany is buying Russian fuel from Belgium and Holland. Europe is buying refined Russian oil from Jamnagar, India. And what to say about the Americans? Just 10 seconds. You are importing 9% of your crude from Russia, well beyond the Ukraine invasion. So these turnips can stuff their hypocrisy in their hookah and smoke it. The fact of the matter is that Shashi Tharoor is right. It is a blue moon instance, but it is one.
Okay. Taseen, you want to respond to that? Because he cited a number of instances that prove your theories, at least the claims that you were making wrong, says Dr. Ranganathan. Your response?
Anand went all over the place, much like some of my friends from the opposition. But the core issue is this. It is the opposition's job to ask tough questions in the interests of the nation. Now, you very rightly spoke about the all-party meeting with regards to both China and Bangladesh. But in Bangladesh, what has happened after that all-party meeting? What is plan B? After that, the massacre even increased, Times Now report. So when the opposition raises questions, those questions have to be looked within national interest. You can't be saying that this is not in national interest. Let me give you a very specific example. Now when there is going to be peace, or hopefully peace, which even President Putin has acknowledged, Prime Minister Modi played a role within Russia and Ukraine. What will be India's role as a peacekeeping force? How does that come out? India has had a long history of peacekeeping forces, the agreements. Shouldn't the opposition have a word in it? You will recall, Madhav.
Taseen, if that is indeed the case, let me assume that what you're saying is absolutely right. Just for a moment, for the sake of argument, let me assume what you're saying is right. Then why is Congress party saying that this is Mr. Tharoor's personal opinion? Why are they not defending him then?
Yeah.
In my opinion, again, this is my personal opinion.
Now this is your personal opinion on Shashi Tharoor's personal opinion, which is very different from the Congress party's opinion. Which opinion should we believe, sir?
I would like to say something. In my opinion, I would advise the Congress party that what Dr. Tharoor is saying is something of absolute magnanimity and grace. And as people who are in the opposition and we want to see the BJP not in government, let us accept that the good that the BJP does. Let us question them on the wrong they do. As so far as Prime Minister, just 10 seconds more, Prime Minister Modi's policy is concerned, I do like his policy with Russia, Ukraine. I do like his policy in the Middle East. I think we should congratulate him. Ask him on his failure in Bangladesh and other failures.
Yes. Anand.
Just 10 seconds. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. And RP Singh, any other gentleman also needs to come. Taseen, it's been 11 years of BJP rule. Tell me one instance where the Congress has appreciated a policy of Modi. One.
So many policies of his they have accepted, including just yesterday.
Name one.
I'm answering. Anand, I will. Just yesterday, the honorable leader of opposition walking out of parliament said that he agreed with what the Prime Minister said on the Mahakumbh. Except today, we were disappointed that the government said there's no data on the people. So
That's
that is
not a policy.
the Mahakumbh policy. Was the policy not that the Mahakumbh would be grand? The leader of opposition said it yesterday on record. Times now carried his bike.
Hundreds of thousands of policies have been promulgated by Modi in the last 11 years. Hundreds of thousands. All he can do is in the last 2 days, he names one which is not even a policy. This is the problem, Tehseen. I'm sorry
Tehseen, on a lighter note, I don't think even Rahul Gandhi will say Mahakumbh is a policy, but let's leave that apart. Let me bring in other panelists. Sheikh Hamir, the larger question that I want to bring in, I want to bring in RP Singh also on this. You know, Sheikh Hamir, the larger question is this. You know, why do opposition parties and every right to question the government? Nobody can take that away. There is parliament for debate, there is discussion. But when the opposition, particularly the Congress party, comes out to say this is Mr. Shashi Tharoor's personal opinion, how can the attack in parliament, where Mr. Tharoor is representing the Congress party, be distanced from the Congress party's own opinion?
Yes, just now Dr. Ranganathan said that why doesn't in 11 years tell me one instance when Congress appreciated Modi ji. So I think they want a blind praise. When BJP, since they formed government in 2014, they have been saying Congress has done nothing in last 70 years. We got independence after 2014. And as far as the economic policy is concerned, I never heard them appreciating Dr. Manmohan Singh, his 1991 model when he brought this LPG model. They never appreciated Dr. Manmohan Singh. They never appreciated any move from last if they say 70 years, that's not exactly 70 years.
Actually, that's not true, but I'll let RP Singh come in on that.
Let me complete. I'm yet to, I said, no, I'm yet
okay,
to
make your point. Complete your point. Conclude your point. Yes.
Yes. BJP diminishes Shashi Tharoor as anti-national, as somebody who is, who they call him elitist intellectual. So when he criticizes them, they say, no, we don't accept that. But on rare occasions, when he speaks something positive about BJP, and they start praising his wisdom. Again, BJP does not accept Shashi Tharoor as a credible voice. If they accept him as a credible voice, but when they feel that when he speaks in their favor, what my brother Tehseen Poonawalla has said about what Congress, what should be the policy of BJP government? Have they ever taken the opposition on board? No, never. Then they have failed as far as we have traditional allies, Maldives, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They were our traditional allies. What happened to that foreign policy? They are going to the Chinas. They are going to the China side.
Coming to those aspects, RP Singh, that when this government only criticizes the Congress party and Congress party's contributions to the nation, then why expect anything else? Your response to what's being stated by Sheikh Hamir.
To start with, Prime Minister in the Parliament and on the floor of the House on, if I rightly know the date, it was 8th February 2024, praised Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji for his democratic values, for his faith in democracy, and also later on 27th December 2024 again. Prime Minister has been on and off appreciative of the Manmohan Singh ji's certain policies on Manmohan Singh ji also. It's not that he has always been criticizing the Congress, but you don't want to, the Congress party or the friends of Congress don't want to see what they don't want to see. But let's come to the other issue. What is the Rahul Gandhi's policy on the China, except signing a MOU and then hiding it from the public domain, or having a special lunch with the Chinese diplomat here and then not letting the nation know until he's been exposed? Or what was his policy on Jammu Kashmir, which was related to the foreign policy also? Kashmir mein qatl wagera, there is a bloodbath happening in Kashmir. I remember it was probably 6th or 7th of August 2019. And then that was picked by no less than Imran Khan and was reiterated by him in UN, saying that the leader of opposition in the Indian Parliament has said so. So this is the foreign policy. Or they questioned the surgical strike. He said it is a game between the Pakistan Prime Minister and Indian Prime Minister. There is a fixed match. The word was used as a fixed match. The surgical strike. So this has been their stand on the government policies.
Okay.
But yes, Shashi Tharoor ji on and off has been praising the government policy, whether it was the PM's policy with the Islamic nation. He said that he went wrong on that also. He made a statement on that. Also on creating a buzz on G20, he appreciated that part also. Shashi Tharoor has been honest enough, but his party has never, Kerala Congress has taken a stand against him. That this is not the stand of the line of the
Sheikh
Congress
Ahmed,
party.
quick response. Quick response, Sheikh Ahmed.
So do you think that
he says that you are not factually correct when you say that the government has not praised what has happened previously.
No.
Your response, very quickly.
Was it a praise of Congress or accepting the contribution of Congress when in 2017 Narendra Modi in Parliament said that Dr. Manmohan Singh has a habit of dancing.
Manmohan was the Prime Minister of Congress. No, Manmohan Singh was a Congress Prime Minister or not?
Digressing from the topic.
He just gave you an instance where the reforms are praised, Sheikh Ahmed.
When he said that Dr. Manmohan Singh has a habit of bathing in the raincoat, what was that?
No, Sheikh Ahmed, of course, that has been stated. One second, but that does not mean that he has not praised the Prime Minister. I think you are missing the woods for the trees. But let me come to a larger point, Sheikh Ahmed. At the end of the day, the point being made is this. Is there a lack of foresight? When you come out and, criticize the government policies, and of course, every opposition leader has every right to criticize the government. But there is also a need, particularly when it comes to diplomatic issues, to be a little cautious and be factually correct when you're making those assumptions or those statements. Do you think that's a strategic error that is being made repeatedly? Sheikh Ahmed.
No, as far as the foreign policy is concerned, you can just on one occasion when you say that the issue of Ukraine-Russia war, okay, you say that if we accept that, okay, Shashi Tharoor said, I too accept that on one occasion. But you cannot say that overall in the last 11 years, the foreign policy is a mismanaged foreign policy. There's a failure of foreign policy of BJP government.
Okay, Russia-Ukraine, maybe we were wrong, but there are other areas where foreign policy has failed. RPC, quick response, please.
Can I make Madhav, small point. Can I make a small point? I used to be critique of at the beginning of the Modi administration, but I think they have touched all the bases reasonably well. This was on the PM's reach to Islamic nations. And also on the G20, he said the Modi government success in making G20 a buzzword he said so that Prime Minister Modi has been able to create a buzzword on the G20 also. It was Shashi Tharoor, and for that he was issued a notice by the Kerala Congress.
Absolutely. You want to respond on that, Sheikh Ahmed?
Hugging the foreign leaders, hugging the prime ministers of Islamic states is not a foreign policy.
No, come on, Sheikh Ahmed, let's not,
No.
See, one second, Sheikh Ahmed, let's, again, this is the problem. We have a certain approach, the leaders on their leadership level have a certain relationship, and that's what's really being talked about. Dr. Raghunathan wants to come in. Yes, Dr. Raghunathan, very quick response.
No, look, on a very lighter note, I think every 6 months an insider informs Dr. Shashi Tharoor that he is going to be raided by ED, so he comes up with something to praise. No, but look, let's be honest out here. Why should India be singled out for having a policy that is independent of either siding with Ukraine or Russia, looking after its interests? Because remember, it is the cheap Russian oil that has allowed us to keep our inflation in check. And right now, it is at a 4 or 5 year low of 3.5 to 4%. The same inflation. Had we not accepted Russian oil and would have skyrocketed, the same opposition, and Tehseen would bear me out, would have said, देखो महंगाई कहाँ बढ़ गई है, Russian oil क्यों नहीं ले सकते हम लोग? So this is heads I tail, heads I win, tails you lose, this kind of a thing the opposition has been playing, has been exposed by none other than Shashi Tharoor. Okay, we'll have to leave it there. RP Singh, Dr. Anand Ranathan, Tehseen Poonawala, Sheikh Ahmed, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. Will there be more U-turns? Will there be more admissions? But in any event, this is a very candid admission, and at the end of the day, criticism where it's due, praise also where it's due. That perhaps should be the policy on both sides of the aisle, whether Treasury benches or opposition. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.